Howdy, Redesert Boy here. Hey, I got something really good today. Back when I got the Sig Sauer Rainbow Titanium 3 P365 380, I did pick up another 380, because I like to kind of have two guns of a new caliber. 380 was the new caliber I was going into. I just kind of like to have at least two guns in a caliber if I can. So, a lot of times when you go in there, and you've already seen the intro, so you kind of know what it is. But, there's just guns you see that you've seen in the movies, you've seen them on television. Maybe they're Western guns you always wanted. Maybe it's a gun you had, your family had when you were young. You always wanted it. And you see it in there and you're just like, man, I got to have that. Even though it's a used gun, it's in beautiful condition. You got to have it. So what am I talking about today? Today I'm talking about this Walther PPK S in stainless steel in 380 ACP. So let's do a little bit of a closer look at this. Nice, you can see it's in 380 ACP. Got this nice walnut grips on it. Got nice texturing with finger grooves, slide serrations. So we turn it around the other way. Right, we can see there that this is from Walther, right? And it's a 9mm Curse, which is short, or 380 ACP. Has a decocking safety device. There's some more serrations, right? It's got the magazine release, which has got some nice texture to it. Nice texture once again here. Nice kind of beaver tail here. If you look on top, you'll see that it's got this kind of more matted up here, but then it's got this kind of machining up there to prevent the glare. That's a 4.2 inch sight radius on there and a 6.1 inch overall length, right? It's 4.2 inches high and it's an inch wide. I don't know whether you can really see it, but there's two like red dots here. Then there's this little pin right here that you see right there. You can even see a notch in the hammer that allows you to see it. That's a loaded chamber indicator. It's back there. So this is just a really nice looking gun. You can tell that it's put together well. And it's 23.6 ounces, 7 rounds. And it also, while we're looking at it, let's go ahead. There's no magazine in here. Let's just go ahead and verify that it's empty. You heard the hammer go down because it's in the decocking or safe position there. So it also comes with two 7-round mags, which are empty. These have I guess you'd call those the witness holes to show the rounds. And I think this one on this side just to show that the mag is fully loaded. One is a flat base plate magazine. The other one has a pinky or little finger extension on it. That's kind of nice, if you're somebody like me who's got a little bit larger hands. It kind of helps you grip the gun better. If you're worried about printing or something like that, maybe you want to put the flat base plate on, right? My understanding, this is a blowback design. I think these come off where you kind of pull it this way and off and over the top. So the barrel is fixed in these. So in some cases, I guess these are a little harder to knock out a battery. So it's kind of a plus for it if you were kind of close and personal. As far as how this might compare to like another weapon in my collection, I have a P938. It's 17.3 or 17.9 ounces. It also has a manual safety, but it's a single action only. It's got alloy frame, if I remember right, with steel slide and barrel. And it's about, like I said, it's like 17.3 or 17.9 ounces. This is 23.6 unloaded. But very solid, stable. This design is decades and decades old. And what do you remember this gun from? Bond. James Bond, of course. So I just had to have that, and I picked that up at that time. So we've checked it unloaded and everything. But let's talk about it a little bit. It's a double action, single action, right? So what's that mean? It means the first trigger pull is in double action mode, and the subsequent ones are with the hammer back, and it's a single action. So the initial one takes quite a bit of pull. In this one, I'd say it's probably at least 10 to 12 pounds, if not more. I think the book said it might be 13. I think then after that, it's like a 2 to 4, or I think in the book it might have even said 6 pounds, which is kind of heavy on a single action. But the single action, to me, on this one feels lighter than that. So you just really have to remember that your initial trigger pull is pretty hard, and after that, it's pretty light trigger pull. So how does that work? Well, you load your magazine, you put it in here. Once you get the magazine in there and you rack the gun to chamber around, then what happens is it's in the safe position, right? You start out in the safe position. This is a safety decocker. If you watch the trigger, you'll see that it moves into the double action position. Also, this red dot is exposed, letting you know that the firearm is live and it's ready to fire. If you were to go ahead and pull this trigger, then what would happen is it's going to go ahead and fire. It's a pretty heavy trigger pull there. What's going to happen after that is normally the slide's going to rack back. It's going to cycle. Then what's going to happen, the hammer's going to remain back. It's still live. As you can see, we still have it in the firing position, but notice that the trigger is farther back because this is now in the single action mode. Okay, so if we go ahead and we were to pull the trigger again, it doesn't take nearly as much force as that first one, and of course it's going to cycle again, and when it does that, it's going to be back to this status. So, and the gun is still ready to fire. Now, if you wanted to make the gun safe, there's a decocker. This is a safety decocker. You pull this down and you put the hammer down. That makes it decocked. However, if you still had rounds in here, you can see it's on a safe mode. But in order to be able to use the double action again, you put it up here to the fire position. And remember, whenever you put it up here and you take the safety off, the gun is live. And if you were to pull the trigger, it would fire. And then you bring it back down. You bring it back down into the safe position. The gun is now in a safe mode, and now it's okay for carry. So this mechanism is more complex, I'd say, than most double action, single actions. I've spent my initial foray into 9mm was 6 hours. So my P360, P226 Mark 25, and my SB 2022s, those are all DASAs, but they just have a decocker. So I would say this gun's not for everybody. Okay. Now, when I went to learn about this gun, I had to really think about it. I had to do a little more research because I really didn't understand exactly how that mechanism worked with the decocker, and how you had to reset the trigger right so that you're able to shoot it again after you decock it and so forth. So all those things. So absolutely, I really recommend and you absolutely need to get training on this gun if you're not familiar with these. I mean, after all the years I've spent on DASAs, I had to do that. So remember, get training on them. Get all the information you can. Read the manual. This is a quality firearm. It's a part of history. It's a James Bond gun. The original ones, I believe, were in 32 ACP, and they were probably 6 rounds, and they were probably blued or black. Probably had black grips. But anyway, I'm happy to have it, so I hope to get it to range here soon. And I just wanted to share that with you. Hey, so just one more thing about this beautiful Walther PPKs. My price for it was in about the $800 to $1,000 range earlier this year, so they're not cheap, okay? And not to say that the rainbow titanium was, but just for some information for you, if you're wondering about what that is. So as Redesert Boy always says, be safe out there, whatever you're doing. And if you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Bye now.